Living the life. Living the life. Living the life. Living the life. Living the life.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Living the Life. This evening with Sajid Varda.
Hey, Naeem Raza.
And it's still Christmas.
At least you're going to change.
Do you know what? I have to admit, in the old days, we used to wear these jumpers all year round. Nobody ever said anything about Christmas.
That's true.
And the minute I put this one on, everyone thinking, oh, you haven't taken your Christmas jumper off.
It kind of looks that way, to be honest,
Yeah, but in the younger days, we used to wear these all the time.
That's right.
Anyway, I did get it cheap because it was after Christmas.
Hey, well, welcome to tonight's
Save
show.
money,
It is
yes.
the start of the week. It is Monday. And
Indeedy.
we are
Live
here
Tonight,
on
you know,
Islam
Living the
Show.
Life indeed. And of course, we've got fantastic news and stories and guests and all the rest of the stuff coming up for you. And on top of that, the auto cue stuck as well, I heard. It's working now, alhamdulillah.
So we've got some fantastic
technology
guests.
and art today.
Absolutely. So we've got people who are helping each other through the use of technology and art. We also have a selection of international stories for you from around the world.
Indeed. You can let us know exactly your views, your comments, and what you think of my Christmas jumper on tonight's show over on our Twitter page, which of course is at Islam Channel, #LTL. Meeting our guests in the green room first, we have the founder of a phone app. You into your phone apps?
Yeah, some.
Yeah? You're into IT anyway, don't you?
I am, yes. I do like my tech.
I love apps as well. That helps people. This particular app is helping people from different parts of the world with their daily prayers.
Absolutely, and other guests are both working together to help people through lettering artwork. So stay tuned to find out more.
Indeed, but before our guests, we have our story of the day. The weather keeps getting colder here in the UK and across the world. In South Korea, people are embracing that wintry weather with the annual ice festival with colourful lights, ice sledding and bare-handed fishing. Over 1.5 visitors. Over 1.5. I think over 1,500 visitors possibly. Maybe it's half a fish or something.
It might be.
Anyway, there we go. There's
Look
our story of the day. So this is the annual Hoshion Shanewa Ice Festival.
I'm assuming that's how you say it.
With activities from bare-handed fishing to ice sledding. Wow.
And this is in South Korea. We have around 1.5 million visitors expected to turn up. This is fun. Now, I'd love to do this, but we have not had decent snow in this country, either in the South or the Midlands, since probably the late 80s, early 90s.
Although there was a bit of snow last week and the whole country came to a standstill.
It did, and it was probably about a centimetre.
How would you do bare-handed fishing, man?
But that looks fun. I'd love to try bare-handed fishing.
What on earth is that?
So very caveman-like.
They just made that out of the snow?
No way.
Seriously, that's like one of our snowmen.
That is amazing. That's an ice palace?
That's an ice palace. Man, it must have been cold, huh?
Wow. I definitely give you a cold bottom.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
I'd love to try Where's the bare-handed fishing? That's what I really wanted to see.
Have you ever fished?
I've never gone fishing in my life.
So therefore you've done no bare-handed fishing?
I have no idea what it's all. I can't understand why you sit there. I'd just go to the shop and buy them.
You'd get bored, wouldn't you?
I'd bother my head. I'd want to dive in and catch them.
I'd love to go spear fishing, but it seems a bit cruel.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's time to welcome our guests in the green room. Please welcome Hussein Sharwi, Dr. Aslam Al-Sudani, and Nivi Grant. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, we're fine, thank you.
Alhamdulillah, that's wonderful. And
I've the man who built the app.
Yes, and the other two guests, Islam is, they actually put together
lettering artwork.
Yes, but they also did a wonderful documentary as well, documentary film, which I saw some time back, and it's been extremely successful. And Nivi was actually one of the characters. She was actually in the documentary herself.
So she's like a celebrity.
She is literally a mini celebrity.
We should get autographs in later.
We should do.
Selfies and all that.
Definitely.
Anyway, let's move to our first international story of the show, and we are starting off in Japan. Yes, indeed.
Were you attempting an accent?
I was going to try, but I thought, I'd forget that. Nintendo. Nintendo? Do you know anything about Nintendo?
Do I know anything about Nintendo?
Are you into those
I
kind of
used to have an N64, and then I got robbed and I lost it, but I've still got one of the cartridges. But that's
I was on this comedy tour, and every single
I heard,
comedian,
yes.
They were in there, Nintendo.
Mr. Artif Nawaz, who's a presenter,
I just couldn't work with that.
I've got an Xbox, but I haven't used that in years.
Xbox?
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Well, anyway, look, we're going over to Japan and we're going to be showing off where Nintendo have brought out a brand new game. It's called Switch. It's a Switch game console, which allows you to play in the comfort of your own home or go on the go.
Or go on the go.
On the go.
Or on the go.
The console will go head-to-head with its rival Sony PlayStation 4.
Oh, let's take a look at this.
Nintendo unveiled its new Switch game console, which works both at home and on the go, as it looks to offset disappointing Wii U sales and go head-to-head with rival Sony's hugely popular PlayStation 4. The hybrid device comes as Nintendo dips its toe into the mobile gaming market after scoring a big win for its brand in the summer with the success of Pokemon Go. The company said its new console was full of Nintendo's entertainment DNA, with elements of earlier devices including the 3DS handheld device and motion sensor Wii. Switch has a removable screen that lets players dock it at home and also use it on the go like a tablet computer with detachable controllers on both sides. It uses cartridges rather than discs.
I think that this Nintendo console tries to offer another type of experience than PS4, and that's why I would like to have both at home. The PS4 is not a console that you would take with you. You can do that with Switch. It's a hybrid console that gives a lot of expectations on the new possibilities.
Switch will be crucial for Nintendo, which needs a hit product to offset the flagging fortunes of the Wii U and 3DS, as rival Sony racks up huge sales of the PS4. It has sold more than 50 million units globally since its debut in late 2013. Last year, the Super Mario and Donkey Kong maker released Miitomo, a free-to-play and interactive game, as it tries to compete in an industry that has increasingly gone online. It scored another hit with the Pokemon Go app released in July, but the impact on Nintendo's profits will be limited. Last month, Nintendo released the Super Mario Run game for iPhones, which topped download charts and drew more than 40 million downloads globally in the first 4 days after its release, according to the company.
So, are you a gamer? Are you a gamer, sir? Oh, I see what you're doing. That's very clever.
That's all they do. They don't talk to you. I mean, I'm bad with my phone. I keep, But
you know what?
Yeah, that's right. That was lovely.
It is an amazing waste of time.
Mum, can I get my dinner now? Huh?
It is a waste of time.
It is a waste of time, but you know what? There's an entire generation of kids as
hooked.
well.
And what's made it worse is now that you can game on your phone. So not only are you wasting,
literally sitting there, it's crazy.
It is problematic, definitely, and really don't. You know what it is? We need to get back to the point where we're building that relationship and that link with the Quran. That's the main. That's what we need to do.
Well, look, on that note, man.
Proactively.
On that note.
Yes.
Our next guest.
Our next guest.
Indeed.
Indeed.
On LTL.
On LTL.
FajrUP.
FajrUP.
Yeah.
Is that a drink?
Could be.
Or is it
it's a mobile app created for Muslims to connect from all over the world for their daily prayers. The app is also a social platform that allows users to learn about each other's cultures and language.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Now, the app allows you to wake up other users anywhere in the world in time for Fajr Salah
via 7 o'clock.
via an internet-based call.
Wow.
Now, the app is a great new way to bring people together in the Muslim community and to stay committed to perform their prayers on time. Please welcome the man behind it all, Hussein Shirwa. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Welcome, man.
Thank you very much.
MashaAllah. Listen, if you phone me before 7 o'clock, I'll knock you out.
Or you're probably already knocked out.
I'm probably all knocked out.
Wake up.
Interesting idea.
I know.
Wow.
Why? I mean, I know there's been a need for it because even for the years, for the last 15 to 20 years, sometimes you have a friend say, look, do you mind calling me at Fajr time? Because, I've had a really long one, I'm not feeling too good, just to make sure I get up. So that need has always been there, but what drove you to create something like FajrUP?
Specifically that.
Just that?
That was the exact reason why I created FajrUP. We were a couple of devout brothers in university. We all had trouble waking up for our salahs. And we just created a call group. And I'd call Zakaria on a Monday. Zakaria would call me on a Tuesday.
And what if he didn't answer?
And then he dropped the ball. Essentially, he dropped the ball.
So it's not a chain, is it? Where I phone you, you phone him, he phones...
No, we'd have a designated caller. For example, Zakaria would call all of us on Monday.
What if you never got up to phone him?
Then I dropped the ball.
Oh, yeah. And what happens when you drop the ball?
Tongue lashing.
Oh, why don't you do this? I've got a great idea. Why do you hook up like some electrical current to a part of the body, right? So when they call them and they don't get up after they don't put a certain code in, They get an electric shock. That will be surely enough to get them up for Fajr, right?
Something to consider for the
Well,
next
there might
update.
be some human right violation.
When we were younger, certainly we had not only a call group, we all agreed to actually meet at the mosque, at a certain mosque, at, Fajr, inshallah, alhamdulillah. So without a doubt, for many people, including myself, Fajr, depending on the time of year, is the most difficult prayer. And we know that as a believer, if you can get up for that, alhamdulillah, your day is different, man.
Yeah.
But Fajr is a tough one, especially for young people, right? It's difficult for them to get up. They're up all night on the games, hey? Hey? And then maybe you should make a game about, Fajr itself. But anyway, look, we're going to have a look at your app. MashaAllah, it's a great idea. And it'll be fantastic to see how this works, especially around the world. So can we see the app? There's some video footage of the app here coming up. FajrUP. Here we are. And it's 10, 9, 8. There we go.
Look at that.
Okay, tell us what's happening here.
Essentially, that's the home screen. It has a digital qibla as well.
Brilliant.
That will be the screen that illustrates the number of users online at a particular time.
Wow.
And once you click select someone once you want to wake somebody up for Fajr, that's all the flags internationally of the people that are available that have requested to be waking up for Fajr at that time.
So you don't really want to be, I suppose, contact someone who's probably about 12 hours behind you, do you?
Well, it depends. The goal was ultimately about making it convenient. For example, 9 o'clock at night here in the UK GMT, it is around Fajr time around the Indian subcontinent.
Right.
So it's about essentially making it easy for you to wake somebody up and earn hasana.
But in your own kind of similar time zone.
Yeah.
I love that name, Gurpreet Pudiwal.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He's from India.
India.
Okay, well, that's a great idea. So, so I suppose the question I have for you is have you've trialed this already? How has it worked so far?
It's working well so far. We're getting thousands of downloads a month.
How many?
Thousands of downloads a month.
Mashallah,
an average of currently about 150 downloads a day across only one platform so far.
It's free?
It's free, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how much time have you invested in it?
We launched it about 10 months ago.
How long did it take you to create the app?
A good 8 months.
And how are you gonna monetize it some way?
Eventually, we're gonna develop it into a freemium model. We're gonna have advertising as well, voice notes, possibly a subscriptions model. So the sky's the limit. There's a lot of interest.
What's the feedback? What are people saying about it?
Not only are we getting feedback, great feedback so far. We've been covered in a number of publications, but we find that the Muslim community also contribute constructive criticism on how to make the app better. But generally speaking, we are getting very high ratings.
And it's only for Fajr?
So far, it's only for Fajr because we wanted to stick to
the same for the rest of the prayers as well?
No. The app has a couple of auxiliaries. For example, you can set alarms for the other prayers, but the call element via the internet is only for the Fajr prayer.
What would be really, really cool, right, is when you have the app, you link it to a bank account.
Okay.
And when you don't wake someone up, you debit your account by £10.
Punish people, don't you?
Yeah, punish them by £10, and it goes to charity. That would be super, wouldn't it? What do you reckon?
Something to consider for the future, alongside the electric car.
You like that? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. Let's collaborate.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, good ideas. But alhamdulillah, it's a fantastic idea. We're going to talk more about it, inshallah.
Absolutely.
I'm actually going to try and download it maybe during the break. Yeah, I'm going to try it out tomorrow.
Okay. Do you want me to sign up to
it? Have I got somebody to look after me?
You could have a Fajr buddy. He can be a Fajr buddy.
Let's just be a Fajr buddy and report on it next time.
Let's do that.
All right, let's try that. And so let's stay with us because obviously we're going to have lots more questions for you. So I'm sure others might be tweeting as well. But we're going to go for a break now. But before we go, we've got another story. Back in Asia. Now, electronic waste is on the rise in the continent and it is damaging to people's health and the environment. Studies have found that children in China have high lead levels in their blood caused by effects from dumping electronic waste.
Electronic waste is rising sharply across Asia as higher incomes allow hundreds of millions of people to buy smartphones and other gadgets, with serious consequences for human health and the environment, according to a UN study. So-called e-waste in Asia has jumped 63% in 5 years, the report by the United Nations University said, as it warned of a need for most nations across the region to improve recycling and disposal methods. For many years, China and some other parts of Asia have been a dumping ground for discarded electronics from the developed world, recycling the waste in often unsafe but ultra-cheap backyard factories. But the report said that in recent years, Asia has rapidly emerged as a major source of electronic waste due to increasingly affluent consumers buying items such as phones, tablets, refrigerators, personal computers and televisions.
Our member companies are companies like Samsung Electronics or LG Electronics, and from various local government organizations we received around 170,000 refrigerators and 100,000 washing machines, and we process around the same amount, 170,000 refrigerators and 100,000 washing machines.
China more than doubled its own generation of e-waste between 2010 and 2015, the period of the study, according to the report. Singapore and Taiwan were also big e-waste dumpers, with just over 19 kilograms per person generated in 2015, according to the study. Cambodia, Vietnam and the Philippines were amongst the lowest e-waste generations, with an average of about 1 kilogram for each person. Meanwhile, improper and illegal e-waste dumping means increased exposure to extremely toxic chemicals, leading to severe health and environment consequences. Acids that are used to separate the metals in the electronic products are a particular concern, with inhalation or exposure to them causing serious health problems. In the Chinese town of Guiyu, which built its economy on recycling waste from overseas, heavy metal contamination has turned the air and water toxic, according to a 2014 study by researchers at Shantou University Medical College. Children in the town also had high lead levels in their blood, the university study found.
Coming up after the break, the Museum of Islamic Art in Cairo, Egypt has been reopened by the country's president after an attack caused damage to the building in 2014. The museum is home to a sword that is believed to belong to the Prophet Muhammad. A 4-metre tall robot that makes the ground shake when it walks has been created in South Korea. The robot is the world's first manned robot and is operated by a pilot sitting inside the robot's torso. Don't go anywhere.
Living the life.
After you, sir.
With us on the sofa here, passionate about helping others, making a difference. Our guests came together to help people in need. At just 12 years old, one of our guests is turning her passion into art for producing lettering artwork for people that make a donation to help her to raise funds to support people who escaped the terrible ISIS.
Well, supporting our young guest on her fundraising quest is a sister with years of experience of interfaith dialogue and a doctorate in Middle Eastern and Islamic studies. She's volunteered in the recent migrant crisis and has fundraised for thousands in aid. She now works as a consultant for NGOs and to continue her support for helping people in need. Please welcome Nivi Grant and Dr. Aslam Al-Sudani. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Tell us, Nivi, lovely to have you here, mashallah. Tell us, what is this? What is about lettering? Tell us what you do. It sounds exciting.
It kind of started when I was making Christmas cards for a few of my friends, a few teachers, and I found some really nice pens, and I thought I'd just start drawing. And then obviously I am aware of all the work that Dr. Islam's been doing, and so I thought, well, why can't I could sell my drawings, and it'd be me having fun and benefiting other people. So it's kind of like a win-win situation.
Wow. What are the drawings? What were they? What?
So normally people will give me like a quote, and I'd use like different fonts and different types of ways of writing and like designs around them and put them together.
Okay, well look, we're going to see some of these. I think we've got some images coming up of some of your work.
That's you in action. Here we go. I am in love with City. Oh, I can't see it from here.
Cities never.
Oh, cities I've never been to.
Yeah.
Oh, so am I.
I am too.
Have to
and with people I've never met.
Yeah.
That's true. You fall in love.
Brilliant.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I like this one. Do more of what makes you happy.
Yay. Brilliant. This is just crayons, just
let your light shine.
So these are your own fonts, because they look like computer fonts, man. They're really good.
Well, a few of these ones, they're not my own designs. These specific ones are other people's designs that I've just redrawn. But when people do give me their own quote, I'll like take fonts from other pieces that I've done and put them together and make my own.
Fantastic. And what have you done with them? So you've actually tried to sell them?
I have. I've been putting them on nice cards and then putting them in frames, and we've got like really big donations. But like even at school, I've got people who are paying like £5, £10 for pieces of work, which helps even more.
So you say you're raising money, and you're raising money to help the victims, you know, from crisis and conflict areas. Tell us a bit about that. What gave you that idea?
Well, I've seen quite a few photos. I am clearly I'm aware of everything that goes on, so I know that it's quite a sad situation there. And I thought that I can't exactly do much to help. I'm only 12 years old, so I thought this could be a way that I could help, and like I said earlier, have fun while doing it.
And so how did you select this wonderful lady and her work? How did you come to know about that?
Well, she's quite a close friend of my family, so I do know her quite well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, look,
we worked together as well for the Why Can't I Be a Sushi?
Yeah.
So as I was behind the camera, she was in front of the camera. She did really well.
But you've done a lot of work yourself, aid work, you work with NGOs, I know you've helped significantly in the refugee crisis. I know following your work, your sister's work, as you went out to Calais, I think went to Greece, and you just came back from Iraq. So what prompted the Iraq visit?
The Iraq visit was when I went to Lebanon.
Right.
And the Lebanon visit because I went to Greece, and I, through the crisis and the opening of the borders and the close of the borders, had different challenges and different ways of dealing with the challenges with the people coming. Obviously, with the pictures and what's on TV is usually you see Syrian, the idea was only Syrians coming out of the war, but in reality, when you got to Greece, it was actually a lot of Iraqis and a lot of Afghanis, and not too much of the Pakistanis as well. And working almost a year in Greece in different cities, including Athens and Thessaloniki, and up in the north, closer to the Macedonian border, I felt that there's enough infrastructure built, and I made my way to Lebanon because there's about unofficial statistics saying there are 2 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon, and Lebanon population is about 3+ million. So we're talking about a significant number of Lebanese population being refugees. And if they did manage to get out, which everybody would want to, when the borders were open, for me it was an indication that they must be seriously suffering from significant poverty, because they needed almost 5,000 to 6,000 to make their journey to Europe. And that was extremely successful. I got to understand the framework of Lebanon, the NGOs, the local charities that are working there. And that's how I've learned a strategy in which when I go there, I actually connect to local charities and support them to support their own people, rather than coming with setting up a charity, going in there. So I don't like reinventing the wheel. That's the truth.
Support, what does it feel like when someone, young Nevi, sitting there at home, has come up with the idea to help you in your work? How does it feel?
I was so touched. I was in Iraq when I saw the post, actually, and I was so touched. I was so proud of her. I told her mum I was so proud of her, because for me, that's the future. People that... Sometimes you feel overwhelmed about how much the world needs help, and that overwhelmment makes you feel like, oh, I can't really do anything. But in reality, you can. Little things.
This is an example where I'm assuming you probably don't play with games consoles, do you, like Nintendo and Xbox? Imagine what you can achieve when you actually focus your mind and you don't waste the time that you've been given. It's such a blessing, isn't it?
I was touched to know that.
How many pieces have you created so far then?
Not that many, but I think around maybe 5 or 6 pieces that I've actually sold. The thing is, most people are paying.
What are people paying for them?
Most people are paying around £20 a piece.
Wow.
So that means.
So there you go.
That's not bad going, man.
I know. I should start.
It's really good going. No, listen, some of these could become collector's
Facebook
items.
name so they can order through online?
I don't know.
Have a think about it.
Find out. Tell us what
I'm more of an Instagram person.
Hey, well maybe
Instagram works as well.
This might be an idea.
Young people for your Instagram.
With FajrUP.
I know we've got.
Maybe you can maybe highlight her work, and then people around the world can maybe start paying for her artwork.
Consultancy work.
We should do stuff. We should. This is truly bringing it together.
Bringing people together on living the life.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
That'd be
well, look,
amazing.
I mean, do you know your Instagram account?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do you want to tell us what it is?
Okay, I have to spell it out.
Have a think about it. We're going to come to you guys.
We're
We've
going
got
to
a lot more to talk to you about because it's amazing work.
But
we're off for another quick break and we're going to be back in Asia. The world's first manned robot has been made in South Korea, and it's so heavy the ground shakes when it takes steps.
Why did you touch me?
I'm sorry, I just had this urge to just tap you on the shoulder. No offense.
Let's take a look at this robot in Korea.
Giant South Korean-built manned robot that walks like a human but makes the ground shake under its weight has taken its first baby steps. Designed by a veteran of science fiction blockbusters, the 4-metre-tall, 1.5-tonne Method 2 towers over a room on the outskirts of Seoul. The hulking, human-like creation bears a striking resemblance to the military robots starring in the movie Avatar. It is claimed as a world first by its creators at Hankook Mirai Technology, a South Korean robotics company where about 30 engineers were hard at work conducting initial tests on Tuesday afternoon. A pilot, sitting inside the robot's torso, makes limb movements which are mimicked by Method 2, whose metal arms each weigh 130 kilos. The robot, more than twice the size of a tall man, is so heavy that it shakes the ground when it takes a step with a loud whirring of motors. Yang, who dreamed as a child of building his own robot, said he invested 242 billion won, or $200 million US, in the project since 2014 to bring to life what only seemed possible in movies and cartoons.
Becoming a scientist was my childhood dream. A scientist that makes robots. Till now, I haven't let go of that dream. And now that I have the resources, I've come to make this robot. I'm fulfilling my childhood dream now.
Building the giant robot was a challenge for the engineers, most of them in their mid and late 30s, as its unprecedented scale meant they had nothing to refer to, said one who declined to be named. So far, it remains unclear how the robot will be used. Method 2 is seen more as a test bed for various technologies that will allow the creators to build any type and size of robot in future. While its enormous size has grabbed media attention, the creators of Method 2 say the project's core achievement is the technology they developed and enhanced along the way. But the robot, tethered by a power cable and still a bit wobbly on its feet, is far from finished. More work is needed on its balance and power systems, according to its creators.
Coming up after the break. Migrants are living in tough conditions in Belgrade, and they are challenged further by the freezing weather. The migrants hope to start a better life in the country, but they are facing many obstacles and hardships. Stay tuned to find out more.
Living the life.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Living the Life. We've been chatting to our guest this evening about the fantastic work they're doing to help others in various different ways. We'll be chucking them in We'll be checking back with him in a few minutes.
SubhanAllah. We have our last story of the show. In Belgrade, migrants are living in very poor conditions, and that has been made worse by the freezing weather conditions. Take a look at this.
Hundreds of migrants are facing Arctic conditions in Belgrade, where they are camping in derelict warehouses near the railway station. In a derelict warehouse behind Belgrade's main coach station, up to 1,200 migrants are trying to survive the freezing Serbian winter in a crumbling building with broken windows, no heating or warm water.
The weather is too much cold and the living situation is also. And you have seen that where we sleep, and you can see the situation of our living.
Temperatures have plummeted towards minus 20 degrees Celsius this week, with many of the migrants staying in warehouses, mostly from Afghanistan, but also Pakistan, Iraq and Iran.
We have blankets. In fact, I didn't sleep for 3 or 4 nights because the weather is too much cold. And if you see and go my sleep place, it is freezing cold, you know? The ice is on my blankets.
It is minus 11 Celsius, and a bitterly cold blizzard is lashing them while they try to warm up by burning wood outside the grim warehouse they now call home. Some of the migrants, who mainly come from Afghanistan, are wrapped in blankets given out by agencies, but most shiver in jackets, inadequate for the sub-zero temperatures they endure day and night. They hope to start new lives in Western Europe, but have found themselves stuck in limbo after successive European nations shut their doors. Many don't want to go to official Serbian reception centres, fearing they'll be sent back. The bleakness of their surroundings is not lost on residents of the warehouse who fled perilous situations back home, only to find themselves confronted by another in Serbia.
SubhanAllah, it's very sad to see that, because also if you look at the conditions in Europe, if you look at Greece as well, the weather conditions just hit the camps so badly that literally people are freezing to death in the tents, and they've got no way of protecting themselves from the elements. SubhanAllah. May Allah want to help them.
Indeed,
really.
indeed. Well, listen, let's go back to
Mr. FajrUP.
Mr. FajrUP. What's going to happen next? What's the next stage for FajrUP, and are you going to create more apps?
Inshallah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But right now, we want to continually grow. We want to continually create a network of Muslims waking each other up and make it a bit of a global movement.
What's your target?
There's 1.7 billion of us. So.
The sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What other features have you got in mind for the FajrUP, apart from, you know, wiring people up to the app to make sure they do get up?
A teleporter, maybe?
Teleport would be very good. Anything else?
No, just faster servers, things as such, making it a bit more functional, easier to use, and in more languages as well.
Inshallah. And my brother, so how do, so which language are they in currently, and how can people get hold of the app?
Hopefully English.
Currently in English.
English would be good.
Currently in English, inshallah. It was our launch language. Next in Arabic, Turkish, Malay, a number of languages, inshallah. But they can get the app on the Play Store right now.
Do you think you might get challenged by some of the mosques to say you're taking over our business?
I hope not, inshallah, but we can always work on ways of working together, inshallah.
So it's available on Apple, or in
on
iOS?
Not on iOS yet. iOS at the end of the month, inshallah.
Brilliant. So it's Android at the moment?
Android at the moment.
Oh, that's why during the break I was looking up for it. But
so we can't use it then?
I didn't want to embarrass you by saying, you know what, I can't find it.
We're going to have to rely upon our mothers.
Not yet.
Who are very good at waking up for Fajr. Using a slip
so
or a stick.
It'll be on Apple by when? By the end
of the month, inshallah. At the end of next month, inshallah. The end of February, inshallah.
Brilliant. And are you going to create more apps, do you think? Is this the one that you really just want to focus on? Have you got other ideas?
Currently, the goal is to make this a major success, and then we'll see where that takes us, inshallah.
Because obviously, making apps isn't what you're really into, but this was because of a certain purpose, wasn't it?
If I find a problem, inshallah, the goal is to find a solution. So I found that this was
I like it. This guy is
the new Prime Minister of, I don't know, England, Scotland?
South East London.
We're looking for a new, no. I think Nicola will do a good job for us. Brilliant. I like the attitude. This is a problem, we're going to solve it.
Inshallah.
Fantastic. So we'll come back to you. Actually, let's do that now. Tell us, how can people get in touch with you? Where's Facebook, social media, Instagram? How do they find out more about you?
Our Facebook is Fajr Wake Up. Our Instagram is FajrUP. Our Instagram is @FajrUP. Our email address is info@fajrup.co. And that's probably essentially the best way to get in touch with us.
Brilliant.
Okay, my brother.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Excellent.
And yourselves, how many more are you going to create? Are you doing one every week, every day? How's it going?
Well, it's all to do with advertising and how many people actually want work done. Obviously, they have to contact me. I can't just go around and say, hi, I've got this. Want to buy it from me? Because it's all personalised.
Absolutely.
Stuff.
Well, the great thing is now you've got Dr. Aslam, who can actually help you now market it and bring more awareness towards it. How much so far have you raised for the refugees, do you think?
Wait. Okay, including work that I'm going to do, that have people have planned.
Yep.
£105.
That's very good, mashallah. Very, very good. And that goes a long way.
That goes a long way.
Especially
and how long people have actually ordered
a
specific what they want.
Sure. And how long does it take you to make one? Are they all different?
2 hours.
Hey?
2 hours to make
2
one.
hours. So you could make in 2, 4. You could make 5 or 6 a day.
An hour to design one and an hour to draw it out.
She got to eat and sleep.
I'm just.
But if she has the order, I don't think she'll
do it throughout the night.
She'll do it if she gets the
Inshallah.
order.
So, Dr. Aslam, so tell us in terms of what's next for you.
So now I've come from Iraq. I've got a really good idea of what the needs are. I've created those networks both in Iraq and Lebanon. I want to carry on doing some aid in Iraq. I think there's a serious need there. And it's very problematic how to get aid to Iraq. But now that I've got the network, the trustworthy network, I'm happy to vouch for people and to send aid.
Which is very important because there's a huge crisis. There are many people who want to do some good, but they don't know where to put that money necessarily. And as we were talking in the break, there are some NGOs that have actually raised a lot of money, but they're not really distributing it in a timely manner or an effective manner.
That's it. That's it. I think the reason why I've moved away from NGOs is because I just don't feel they're not fast enough in reacting. And when they do, sometimes it baffles you in the things they spend money on. And I think there is a form of revolution that's happening. I honestly believe it, that after the refugee crisis, there's a lot of people that have felt much more empowered than they were before by themselves going, taking aid, fundraising, buying the things and distributing it. And that's one of the things that sometimes we feel disempowered, but in reality, when you think about what you can do as an individual and you just do what you can do, I think that's enough.
But surely the average person in the street isn't really equipped to start doing things for themselves. Don't the NGOs bring some kind of experience, the support mechanism, the network, the fundraising ability, the delivery?
I don't think it's fair to take that away, but I think what has happened as a consequence is that as an individual, seeing all these things going on in the media, we've lost the feeling of empowerment. I think we've desensitized ourselves and we took away the agency, if that's the right word to use, in which what you can do as an individual. For example, I'm really proud, and I have to say, FajrUP community, they do amazing. I don't know how many containers they've sent to Greece, to Syria, to, I don't know if they've done Iraq yet, but they're constantly sending containers. And those containers are made of individuals like you and me, where we're donating what we don't need. You know, it's through their network. So it's a series of contribution of humans.
It's amazing
for the
how much
container
stuff,
to get there.
It's amazing how much stuff we have that we don't need.
That's exactly.
But we just hang on to. But it could be helping somebody else. Like
so
even children's clothes that kind of, the wrong sizes and old stuff.
I've seen the other side of the happiness where we get those containers, we open those boxes, and you know that child is cold. You know that child needs a new shoes. And you have no idea the amount of prayers.
What's the danger of when that kind of thing happens? What's the danger of something like Calais taking place, where there were containers, loads of clothes and things that were just being burnt because nobody needed them? Because people from here were sending stuff. They thought, I'll send this off because that's what I think they need. But there's no one doing any assessment. There was surplus of stock, and it's all just been gone to waste. There's a danger of that happening, surely.
Of course, it's true. But I think that's also true of big NGOs as well, because I've seen a lot of things being bought instead of the wrong time. So by the time certain things are coming, the winter's gone, for example. Or by the time the summer needs it, they're bringing winter things.
It's there for that particular need. So, Doctor, as we're about to finish, where can people follow your travels and your activities?
At the moment, I'm doing all my work on Facebook.
Which is?
My name is Islam, E-S-L-A-M, El-Soudani, E-L-S-O-U-D-A-N-I. If you're interested to order anything for Neve to do, or you want to
through you, which
I think that's the safest thing to do.
Well.
Everything's on my Facebook, and you can send me a message.
Bless you. And all of you for all the wonderful work you're doing. It's exciting.
You're helping people in different ways.
We are. That's true.
You're kind of waking people up in different ways, aren't you?
We're all fajring up.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Alhamdulillah.
Fajring up.
Well, look, Jazakallah khair for being with us tonight. And sadly, that is the end of the show for tonight.
It's been a pleasure. Naeem, we're out of time. A massive thank you to our guests and for you watching at home.
Indeed, and you can still stay in touch with us on Twitter at Islam Channel, #LTL. Plus, don't forget you can share and watch your favourite clips again via website and on YouTube at Islam Channel TV.
Indeed, Living the Life will be back live tomorrow at the same time of 7 p.m. But until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.